Shakalaka, a huge day for Bitcoin, exactly as predicted in yesterday's video. Today, we are talking about the new price levels for Bitcoin, also comparing Bitcoin's cycle this time with previous bull runs, why a 4xing of Bitcoin is actually very realistic, and the most likely altcoin to be bought by the government and pump insanely. Stay tuned. What's up everyone, Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's video, we are covering a lot of stuff in this episode. You'll definitely want to stay tuned until the end where I'm going to go over an altcoin that could be pumping absolutely insanely when the governments really want to start getting into crypto. Now, in today's video, we have a whole bunch of stuff. Before we get started, guys, make sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell. Also, today's episode is sponsored by Bridge Oracle, the first ever public Oracle system on the Tron network. Their unique technology allows smart contract developers to infuse real-world data onto smart contracts to create real-world connected dApps and DAOs. Bridge Oracle's flexible open-source API infrastructure makes it easy to customize and deploy smart contracts using a wide variety of data points outside of the Tron network. Bridge Oracle will launch publicly on the Tron mainnet by the end of Q1 2021. To learn more about Bridge Oracle, you can head over to their website, bridge.link, or follow them on Twitter at bridge_oracle for news and updates. Now, guys, today, like we talked about in yesterday's video, right up there, Bitcoin had a huge move. Now, the day before, Bitcoin batted up against this psychological barrier of $50,000. However, today broke through massively, potentially with the news of MicroStrategy not taking out $600 million of debt, but actually now $900 million more debt to buy more Bitcoin. Now, what this has done for Bitcoin is push Bitcoin through the big even right up to this area, the bottom of this box that I've had here for weeks, with the intended potential resistance for Bitcoin, $52,000 to $58,000. So this is a big area for Bitcoin where it could sit, and it may sit in here for quite a while. Now, as we can see, Bitcoin price recently has just been butting up against this white line, the top of the bullish megaphone it's been in since September, since the first golden cross way back then when the price started moving up. Not only that, is getting squished by this orange line, the 4-hour MA50, to be stuck on the upper bounds. And not only that, but the 4-hour MA50 right now is actually above the 78.6 fib. So even if Bitcoin price came back down, we might only see like $47,000 there. But Bitcoin is continuing to press upwards. It's looking very good. We might see a little stagnation in this $52,000 to $58,000 area. But if it breaks out of there, we're looking like $67,000 to $75,000 based on this fib extension right here. Now, that's all great news for Bitcoin. But let's take a look at what Bitcoin's doing compared with previous cycles. So we have here in the green and red lines, this is what Bitcoin's doing this cycle, the third halving. The yellow is the first halving, the blue is the second halving, and we're actually right between them. Now, does this actually make sense? And I would say, yeah, kind of. You see, the first halving, no one knew what was going to happen with Bitcoin. And really, there weren't that many people in Bitcoin. So price was a lot more volatile. As you could see here, we went from the halving all the way up to the all-time high by what would be May of this year. So we would only have like another 3 months based on that. However, the last halving, the one that a lot of us may have been around for, well, it took a little bit longer. From the halving to the top, it would end up around October of this year. So potentially, since we're in the middle now, we might max out in the middle of that around August. However, capital inflows are at a max right now. We might see it happen within the next month or so. We'll kind of have to keep an eye on that. However, historically, March is a bad month for Bitcoin. So don't be surprised if we see like a 30% pullback in Bitcoin price. It happened here, it happened here, it happened here. It happens a lot in bull markets. So just don't jump off the tracks. Now, Big news for Bitcoin. Willy Woo, I just love reading his tweets. I only look at two people on Twitter. I look at Willy Woo and I look at Charlie Lee, because Willy Woo has the best information and Charlie Lee is going to predict the top. So that's all I need to know. Anyways, the number of the day is 4 trillion. Okay, that's a lot of zeros. But 4 trillion of cash is sitting in U.S. non-financial corporations. 4 trillion is also gold's financial cap. 4 trillion is also Bitcoin's projected cap for the end of this year on current models. That means we could very reasonably see 4xing of Bitcoin from where it's at right now, $200,000 Bitcoin. Now, what does this actually mean? So, Bitcoin is like gold now. Everybody realizes it's a store of value, especially against all the dollars that they're printing. But with this $4 trillion gold financial cap, which is the amount of gold for financial use according to Wikipedia, all right, Bitcoin could very reasonably match that. Very reasonably. There's about 10 trillion total of gold, 4 trillion for financial use. Bitcoin could very reasonably match that because it's like gold, but it's more useful. Okay? Now, this is the big one. 4 trillion of cash sitting in U.S. non-financial corporations. Okay? MicroStrategy started something new when they started buying Bitcoin. Now Tesla has added Bitcoin to the books. There's a lot of other companies that are adding Bitcoin to the books. There's going to come a day where if you want to own Bitcoin, the scarcest asset that's ever been created, you're going to have to buy one of these companies. Okay? And that's the big thing that's happening. There's a lot of capital inflows happening from that. That is definitely going to impact the price. Not immediately. This price action we're seeing right now is based on retail investors reading the news about MicroStrategy's buying more. MicroStrategy is buying it over the counter. That does not affect the price. That just affects the supply. So when we read that, when we buy more, the price goes up even higher. Now, eventually there's going to come a point. I like to try and predict the future. Obviously, I can't predict the future, but I like to try and look into the future. There's going to come a point when governments are going to want to know everything that's going on with cryptocurrency. And this theory actually comes from this video right here. But there's going to come a point when governments are going to want to know everything that's going on, especially on decentralized exchanges. Now, can they do that? Well, no, they're decentralized. I mean, you can't do that unless you buy the large market share of these governance tokens for these decentralized exchanges. Well, which ones am I talking about? Well, how about the number one gainer for today, pancakeswap on Binance Smart Chain, up 43% today. All right. If governments want to be able to monitor everything you're doing, they buy up a majority of pancakeswap tokens and then they can change the rules. Okay. They can do that for pancakeswap. They can do that for SushiSwap. They can do that for Uniswap. They can do that for 1inch. And they can pretty much do it for every other decentralized exchange. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean that it's the end of privacy? No. I mean, we can just create new exchanges. But here's the thinking. If you invest in these exchange governance tokens now, when governments want to own them and they buy them up, guess what? The price goes up dramatically because, let's say, for instance, that they want to own half of pancakeswap, 51%. Okay? Well, the market cap right now is $1.2 billion. They would need to buy at least $1.2 billion of it to own 51%. So that would more than double the price. You would more than 2x because the supply is limited. The price would go up parabolically. So guys, that is all for the episode today. We went over where Bitcoin price is going, comparing Bitcoin to previous cycles, why a 4x is extremely reasonable, and some amazing altcoins you might want to hold on to if you're worried at all about governments trying to manipulate what's going on with cryptocurrency. So guys, thank you so much for watching today. If you did enjoy it, make sure to like, subscribe, click the notification bell, and I will catch you later. Peace.